Concord for
It's got the makings of something that could go the distance in the months and years to come.
I got nothing. Sorry. This is one of those M. Night Shyamalan twists that nobody expected, right? The game that garnered a peak concurrent player count of 697 on launch night? That's less than Sex with Hitler. For those that forgot Concord existed, I don't blame you. It's a game that released and died within about a week and a half. It had so few players that most of the ranked modes were completely unplayable right from the get-go. After the servers had been taken offline and the game pulled from digital and physical stores, there were rumors that maybe they would find some way to retool it and push it back out into the market. Those rumors have been silenced, okay? They have shut down the studio. Now, Concord was a generic hero shooter that, for some reason, released in an oversaturated market while asking for $40 in a genre where most hero shooters are free to play. I made a video on why this game failed on the main channel. You can check it out if you want to see me go in depth on it. But the main gist is that the character designs were unappealing and uninteresting. The gameplay was generic. Visually, it was unappealing. And it's just one of those games you look at and you're like, I don't know why I would ever play that. Concord.
No, that's not the point. The point is the fact that Wokies came in, tore that game to shreds, made it a complete disaster, and you're just afraid to admit it. I love you, Ackman, but man, your shit is mixed on fuck, man. Like you gotta just like learn how to just spill the beans straight out. Just say it. Like, these Wokies fucked everything up. These Wokies fucked everything up. Everything up. But yeah, I still like Ackman, but still, man, like, you need to tell it how it is. Like, the DEI and the Wokies ruin gaming. Period.
Failed to garner much of an audience because it couldn't stand out from its competition. And it's not like it's impossible to break into the hero shooter market. Just look at Marvel Rivals. I mean, I'm still fucking hyped for that to come out. The craziest thing about this was that Sony had apparently invested up to 400 million buckaroos in this game.
Because they're fucking stupid. They looked at this game and said, wow, this is the future of gaming. This is the future of gaming right here. I'm betting all my money on this. Oh my gosh. How do we tell them? How do we tell them? But anyways,
they had a whole extended universe planned with like product tie-ins, and there was going to be an episode about Concord in some Netflix series.
Nobody was gonna watch that shit. Nobody was gonna watch that shit, bro.
They were gonna add new weekly vignettes and cutscenes to like flesh out the world. This was made to be one of PlayStation's major live service titles, something that could compete with Overwatch. And they pulled the plug in a week and a half, and they have now shut off life support. Now,
thank fucking Christ, because that game was not going to have a revival. It was going to be like, that lady from Life Alert. She's like, I found it. I can't get up. And then she gets up and then she falls again. I found it twice and I can't get up. That's what the revival would have been, man. That shit would have been ass.
I understand why they might have gone back and tried to rethink this and see, you know, hey, maybe we could change this so that the 400 million we put into this game isn't just going into the trash can. Maybe there's a way we can make it free to play, change the character designs. Thing is,
nope. Nope.
You can't redo all the character designs when they've been all over the marketing and in so many different like cutscenes and vignettes.
Like, I didn't have no issues looking at this at first, but now when I look at it, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, they were like, some of the people who were redesigning said like, this doesn't work. And they redesigned it to the point where they actually had interesting designs and silhouettes and such and so forth, and they made them look really a lot better. But and after I looked at those, and I look at these, I'm like, who the fuck are these characters? Like, what the fuck's the robot supposed to do? What the fuck is she supposed to do? I mean, don't even get me started on 8 Man. Like, seriously though, dude. Like, these designs are these these designs are trash.
It seems
Trash.
they've exhausted all potential ideas and are just scrapping it entirely, which is the right call, you know? Nobody wants to relive another Morbius embarrassment where you re-release something nobody wanted and then it fails again because still nobody wants it. What doesn't make sense to me is that this was Firewalk Studios' first and only game they made. Why throw $400 million at them? Why write them a blank check?
Here's some money. Goodbye.
Shutting down the studio is going to affect about 210 jobs, according to Bloomberg. And fellas, I think I speak for all of us when I say, yes, I fucking love layoffs in the game industry. I love, that's gotta be one of my favorite genders.
I mean, unless it's the fucking Wokies and shit, then yeah, let's fucking get rid of these guys and let's get some people with some actual common sense and some skill to come and make these games because it's nicer. Garbage. We don't want garbage. No. Garbage is bad for us. We don't want garbage.
Layoffs and studio shutdowns, hell yeah. But seriously, while it's easy and highly entertaining to make fun of Concord, just remember this isn't a good thing. This is not a good sign for the health of the game industry. A $400 million failure is not something to be celebrated.
If it's trash, it's a lot to be celebrated. If it's trash, if it's trash and the fucking design sucks and the writing sucks, it deserves all of the garbage it gets. The game got a lot of L's just for that. Like, it just sucks, man. There's no saving it. Like, it deserves all of the L's it can get at this point. No one cares.
If you're a fan of this hobby,
Gaming.
that spells disaster for other studios, other developers, publishers, and projects. While Sony is doing the right thing,
it's a good sign because it shows nobody wants that woke garbage in our fucking games. It's that fucking simple, man. But you're too busy pussying out because you don't want to get fucking wrecked when it comes to these wokies coming after you because you lack the balls to deal with their asses. Straight up.
and not falling victim to the sunk cost fallacy, the negative effects of this situation could reverberate across the entire industry. But hopefully it marks a positive change where brand new studios aren't given a blank check to make whatever the fuck they want. You know, there's this consistent pattern of...
I mean, if they have a decent idea and it's not woke, I mean, yeah, give them the damn check. I mean, just don't let us get more, just don't give it to a garbage company that wants to now hire DEI and basically make shit games that nobody else wants. It's common sense. It's that simple.
Publishers over investing in projects and taking completely unnecessary risks. Give new studios smaller budgets. Expect less of them. Stop trying to make every new game the next Fortnite, right? We saw this with Immortals of Avium. Publishers need to learn these important lessons and stop repeating the same mistakes. So let's take a look at this IGN article about it. So this says Firewalks.
Again, they need to stop making woke garbage games with woke ideologies and forcing that shit down our throats. And basically make things that actually make sense and bring reality and actually can relate to people. It's so fucking simple and not just relate to them. And stop doing this self-insert shit unless you're actually good at self-inserting, which I still haven't seen anybody else do at this point.
Studio's closure follows the reported departure of director Ryan Ellis, who stepped down after Concord was taken offline. I can't imagine why. Sony Interactive Entertainment publicly posted the internal email from Studio Business Group CEO Herman Holst with a statement on the closure. We consistently evaluate our games portfolio and status of our projects to ensure we are meeting near and long-term business priorities. It's safe to say that did not meet any with Concord. Expanding beyond PlayStation devices and crafting engaging online experiences alongside our single-player games are key focal areas for us as we evolve our for us as we evolve our revenue streams. We need to be strategic, though, in bringing our games to new platforms and recognize when our games fall short of meeting player expectations. Yes, and you also need to not just throw $400 million at whatever bumfuck project you think is going to be able to compete with Overwatch. It's important to note that they're not saying they're shifting focus away from live service games, just that they're going to rethink it. And hey, let's see if we can get this to work, because Fortnite makes a shitload of money, and we want that. We're not giving up on it. While mobile remains a priority growth for the studio business, we are in the very early stage of our...
The problem with these companies are that they're completely out of touch on what people want, because they look at a fucking graph or something that says, "Oh, this is popular, so do this," and they're like, "Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll get some money in." They just need to really just go online, see what people like, see what works and what doesn't work. But I'll tell you right now, the woke shit does not work. It does not work, Chief. It does not work.
Our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have the potential to reach more players globally. So these are very tough but important lessons the higher-ups at PlayStation need to learn and understand if they're going to move forward, branching out into different revenue streams and making games for different platforms.
They need to leave the ideology shit alone, because that's what's killing the Western gaming industry right now. It's that simple. Just get rid of those people, hire people off of merit, basically skill, and just start making good games. Stop hiring people just because they're black, white, Asian. Well, let's take white out, because apparently they're completely racist against white people. Jesus Christ.
Also closing another mobile game studio, Neon Koi. Regarding Firewalk, as announced in early September, certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players. I mean, the game didn't land with players, but if Concord was just one big practical joke, then the joke landed. Yeah, it was an expensive joke, but take a look at these fucking outfits. I do like how whenever a game... An expensive joke, but take a look at these fucking...
Yeah, like one was the rocket thing. People didn't understand it. Like, even the colors, like, there's just... I mean, some have decent color, but besides the color, their outfits just doesn't scream, "Oh, I do this. Oh, I do that." I mean, you got this fat guy over here who looks like he needs to eat a salad, and like, he got a gun, and he's supposed to be... Is he supposed to be a soldier? Because he doesn't look like it. He doesn't have certain things that says I'm a soldier. If anything, it says I'm a fat boy with a fucking...
I'm just a nigga with a rifle.
I do like how whenever a game fails or does poorly or gets a lot of negative reception, it's always, well, the game didn't land with players. Because they can't be brutally honest and say, yeah, we didn't really check in with the people making this game, and we didn't see the designs of the characters, and we didn't think...
No, you did. They did. They just ignored them. You're like, "Oh, you have criticism? Well, basically, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about your criticism. But I say stays. Simple as that." I mean, the higher ups got the last bit of got the last word in, and whatever they say stays. And that's why this fucking game sucks.
About how a $40 price tag would deter any newcomers from trying this game. And as a result, we took the game offline. We've spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. When they say they've spent considerable time exploring all options, I think they have. But realistically, I don't think anybody thought there would be some kind of redemption arc in store for Concord. It's not like No Man's Sky. That was a game people were actually interested in.
Maybe it's good that I didn't get to be at that college I was at. Maybe it's good, because I would have been stuck with that wokey ideology nonsense.
To see it deliver on the promises it failed to at launch. Concord was a game that people just didn't give a fuck about, and you can't really fix that without making a new game entirely. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. Because I can't write, "You sons of bitches cost us so much money." The sad irony is that Concord managed to do something a lot of other AAA first-party titles don't, which is work at release. There were talented, creative people on the team. I think it's obvious to see that. But even if you spend 8 years painting a pile of dog shit, well, it's still a painting of dog shit. No matter how detailed
Again, there were people saying that this is not going to fly and you just ignored them. Plain and simple.
or clean it looks. It goes to show that high-quality visuals don't translate to a high-quality game. Who would have thought? It's understandable that the studio would get shut down, but you also have to wonder why they were given such a ridiculous project to make in the first place. Where does the blame truly lie with? Could it be out-of-touch leadership at Sony who didn't check in with the game and make sure things were running smoothly? Is it the leadership at Firewalk who simply had the wrong vision for this game? It's tough to say, but probably a combination of both. Yeah, the PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space that's continuously evolving, and unfortunately we did not hit our targets with this title. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver growth in the future.
So that was a fucking lie.
Puzzling why you would dump so much money into a game that clearly didn't appeal to people.
Again, Web of Shadows, I probably didn't say this, but Web of Shadows, Spider-Man game that people actually wanted, was canceled for a game that nobody asked for.
Like, you don't need a business degree to figure out that charging $40 for this crap was like instantly gonna make your game fail. But they're not gonna give up on the live service business model, folks. Let's see what happens with Concord 2, Reconquered. This passage here is important. I'm a big believer in the benefits of embracing creative experimentation and developing new IP. However, growing through sustainable financials, especially in a challenged economic environment, is critical. So
that was a fucking lie.
at least that's a silver lining. They're not giving up on creating entirely new franchises. But make no mistake, Concord stands as the biggest financial disaster in video game history, arguably one of the largest flops of any media launch. Again, I want to drill it in your brain that this was a $400 million game that made $0 back. Somewhere in
The reason, again, because the Wokies were taking over and doing whatever the hell they want. Plus, you have to hire us basically saying whatever they wanted in the game. And, you know, you got a whole thing of Sniza right there.
In this process, some people fucked up big time. Whether it was leadership at Sony who didn't know what kind of game they were making, or leadership at Firewalk who didn't know how to market and sell this to your average Joe gamer.
I believe that there were people there, they just didn't listen to them again.
It's truly stunning that along this like 6-8 year development cycle, that catastrophe was never averted. And one of the reasons why the ship did not steer away from disaster, but rode straight into it, was that Concord was made amidst a culture of toxic positivity. The shooter was internally referred to as the future of PlayStation, with Star Wars-like potential. Jesus, that's depressing, man. Like, also, side note, think about how awful it must have been to like put so many years worth of effort and love into this project and to just have it completely flop this hard. Like imagine spending 6 years on a video that gets 800 views, you know? Now, in a PlayStation podcast called Sacred Symbols, Colin Moriarty, I think I pronounced that right, had this to say.
A major thing about the game, there was, and I think we can kind of get this vibe from just the nature of the people making it and kind of the way the game reads and all that, a toxic positivity vibe. You weren't allowed to say anything, apparently internally, about this game, about how like something's wrong with it, character designs are not right. Internally, the game was considered part of the future of PlayStation with heavy cross-media references and a system of toxic positivity surrounding it that didn't allow anyone to meaningfully change the course of the game. Because if the people at the top truly believe in something, you're not going to be able to do much about that, I don't think, from the trenches.
And this claim of toxic positivity has also been backed up by Kotaku, for what it's worth. One of their senior reporters says, some sources I've spoken with blamed a head-in-the-sand mentality carried over from the studio's Bungie roots. God damn it. But I could definitely see this game being poisoned by toxic positivity, where leadership might brush aside any and all valid criticisms, like, hey, this character doesn't look like a medic. Why does the robot have pronouns? Do you think that's gonna go over well with people?
I just realized we got Veilguard we should be discussing, but why the fuck are we still talking about fucking Concord? I just fucking realized that shit.
people. Sure, the cast of characters and their designs might be inclusive and diverse, and you can pat yourself on the back, I suppose, but that's all these characters are. None of them had likable personalities or aspects a player could identify and relate with. You didn't have some dark, brooding, Grim Reaper kind of guy that would appeal to goths or like...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Even though like they're greedy as all hell right now, I mean, Overwatch still is got like a lot of people playing it, and it still looks like an amazing game. Still plays like an amazing game. It's just that they're still probably fucking greedy, but still, people love the game. I'm not an Overwatch fan or player. I just like how the game looks, and I was hoping for it to get its movie, but you know what? Never mind.
An edgier, younger crowd, a hero shooter without well-defined heroes is never gonna do well. Characters need to be relatable, make us want to define a part of ourselves through this character we main, right? That's why people ask, who do you main? It says something about you as a gamer. And for some people, what they're looking for in a hero shooter is gooning material. And Concord couldn't even deliver on that front. One of the rare instances that proves there are some exceptions to Rule 34. Concord was plagued with an identity crisis, so naturally gamers couldn't identify with it. Anytime it was promoted in those PlayStation showcases, I feel like I would just gloss over it, like, okay, yeah, what's the next game? I didn't care about that one. But then when Concord came out, what got people interested in it was that they heard it was a massive failure, you know? In some ways, it's poetic that we have both The Day Before and Concord on two radically different ends of the spectrum, yet they both achieved the same result: complete and total failure. On one end, you have The Day Before, which was just a fucking scam, like barely even a video game. And on the other end, you have the highly polished Concord, was a generic carbon copy of the hero shooter genre. So what's missing from these two games? It's both effort and creative identity. So yeah, farewell, sweet Concord. We knew ye well. We will not forget you.
No, I feel fine, actually.
Farewell, sweet Concord!
Anybody who bought a physical copy, hold on to that shit. That's gonna be worth something in 20 years, man. Concord died, as did the studio that created it, and we have yet to see what kind of impact this is going to have with Sony, PlayStation, and across the gaming industry as a whole. It's moments like these that make you feel like we're headed towards another video game crash, and I hope that's not the case. But what do you think? Are you gonna make some Rule 34 art of Concord in honor of its untimely demise?
Fuck no, that shit is gonna look ugly as fuck, man. Like I want to deal with like fucking ugly, like drawing some ugly ass fucking characters. Shit. Later.
I'm just a nigga with a rifle.